Stop wasting time trying to figure out your magic system from scratch. You can have a more immersive magical world for a marketable book if you use just two of the four core types every magic system in fantasy falls into. And I'm going to break those down for you in this video. When it comes to writing a magic system, you have a lot of freedom, but you also have a lot of responsibility to make it consistent, meaningful, and captivating. A strong magic system doesn't just exist in the background, it helps drive your story along its thematic arc, it enhances character development, and it immerses readers in your world. This magic system lives on a spectrum, or rather, a quadrant. So, one of the best ways to craft a magic system that supports your story is by plotting it on a quadrant to give you a solid template to work with. But these four categories, soft, hard, low, and high, are not rigid boxes. Those quadrants have a range, like a spectrum, from soft to hard magic and low to high magic. Your magic system will fall somewhere between them with different degrees of each. Understanding these will help you build a balanced, compelling magic system that captivates readers with both wonder and the right expectations. I covered more about what makes a strong magic system and how to meet reader expectations in my previous video, which I've linked below. And to be sure your whole story is strong and meeting reader expectations, making sure every element, including your magic system, contributes to a story that engages readers and stands out in the market, I have a free resource that can help. Turn your story idea into a marketable book walks you through the same steps I use with my author clients, giving you a roadmap to develop your novel into something readers won't want to put down. You can grab it in the description below. Now, let's build on that knowledge and explore how plotting your magic system on this chart will give you a flexible framework that will save you time in world building and get your story captivating readers more effectively. The y-axis goes from low to high magic systems. This spectrum is like a magical thermostat, or I've heard it described as a volume setting. When you crank up the magic in scope and power, the higher it sits on this axis. When you turn it down and limit the scope, and its power isn't so grand, or it's at least rarer, the lower it sits on the axis. On the x-axis, the horizontal axis, magic systems range from soft to hard. This spectrum is rather like a blur setting in a photo editor. The blurrier the magic system is for readers to grasp, the softer it is. The sharper the magic system's clarity, the harder the system. So, if a magic system has fewer definitions and rules, it will sit farther left on the axis. The more rules and definitions where everything about it is explained like a science, the farther right it sits on this axis. Let me further define each of these four types of magic systems so you can determine where your story's magic system best fits. Starting at the top of the chart, the first core magic system type is a high magic system. When we talk about high magic, we're talking about a world where magic is widespread and influences nearly every aspect of life. Think of Harry Potter or Avatar: The Last Airbender, where magic is more than a part of the plot. It's woven into society, politics, and everyday activities. High magic often feels grand, pervasive, and is an integral part of the world's functioning. In high magic worlds, magic is typically accessible to many people, or certain groups such as wizards and sorcerers, and often has clearly defined rules or systems. But we'll talk about that more in a bit. On the other end is low magic systems. These are the opposite of high magic. Magic exists, but it's rarer, subtler, and often not fully understood by most people in the world. There's often still a larger emphasis on mundane solutions to problems. In stories like Game of Thrones, magic lurks almost unseen, often adding mystery or an edge of danger. In the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, magic exists but is tightly controlled by a few powerful individuals, like the Magus Bias. Magic is dangerous, often destructive, and difficult to master. In the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, access to magic is highly restricted to those who can tolerate jade, and even then comes with a lot of risk. Low magic systems can create a more grounded atmosphere because they're less about grand displays and more about the unknown or the mystical. And on the right of the other axis is hard magic systems. This is where rules reign supreme. Hard magic systems have clearly defined mechanics, limitations, and consequences. In Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archives, or let's face it, really anything by Sanderson, the magic system is detailed and intricate. Each Radiant Order has unique abilities tied to specific surges. Because the rules are so clear, this kind of system can create tons of tension by pushing characters up against those limits. Hard magic is great when you want magic to feel like a science, a part of the plot that readers can follow and even predict. It allows for strategic thinking in battles, resource management, and a lot of creative problem solving. Readers love hard magic when they can understand the system well enough to anticipate what might happen next, making it satisfying when you set up and fulfill those expectations. It's often a reader expectation that high magic systems, where magic is everywhere, should also be a harder magic system. With magic being such a prominent aspect of the novel, readers naturally want to know its rules, how it works, who can use it, and what limitations it has. Without this structure, high magic can become chaotic or feel like a cheap way to solve problems. That's why you'll often find high magic paired with clear, defined systems, like chromaturgy in Brent Week's Lightbringer series, where individuals known as drafters can convert light into physical matter called luxin, with each color of light granting different abilities and properties. And it has limitations based on the light the drafter can see. Or there are those like Harry Potter that seem fairly hard with specific spells, yet much of the workings and one off feats of magic go mostly unexplained. It might sit near the middle of the soft to hard axis. So that leaves soft magic systems. These are more fluid, with fewer rules and often a sense of mystery or wonder. The Lord of the Rings is one example of soft magic. Gandalf's abilities are powerful, but their exact limits are rarely defined. Magic in these systems feels mystical and sometimes even random, which can keep readers on their toes. Soft magic works best when you're using it to create atmosphere and awe, rather than to solve specific plot problems. Because there aren't strict rules, it's easier to avoid plot holes. But you also have to be careful not to use magic as a deus ex machina or introduce unintended plot holes in which readers would wonder why magic couldn't simply be used. Rather, soft magic is about creating a feeling of wonder, while still maintaining a sense of consistency with your world's deeper themes. Low magic stories tend to have softer magic systems, which gives the story a sense of wonder without having to spell out all the details. We see this in T.J. Klune's House in the Cerulean Sea, with magical beings of inexplicable origin and abilities that are often unknown even to them. And that's kind of the point in this story that explores the other among further themes that take a higher priority than the specifics of the magic. Readers expect the mystery here, and that's okay. In fact, it's a great tool to create a more immersive world by leaving certain aspects of magic open to interpretation, which helps maintain an air of unpredictability. As long as it's still serving the story, that is. And in Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy, magic is relatively rare and subtle, mainly appearing through two types, the wit and the skill. Hobb doesn't focus on the mechanics or hard rules of these abilities, yet don't mistake that to mean her system is simple. Instead, she explores the personal and cultural impact of magic on her characters, which creates a low, soft magic system that emphasizes the emotional and psychological consequences rather than a strictly defined structure. Not to mention the psychological consequences on her readers. I will never not sob for Night Eyes. However, your story does not need to follow the typical combinations. In other words, you can absolutely mix a low magical volume with a hard system, or a high magical volume with a soft system. For example, I might argue that the Chronicles of Narnia is a high magic series with a softer system. In Narnia, magic often operates on a grand, cosmic scale, tied to the foundational laws of the world, such as the deep magic and the deeper magic that govern life and death. These forces are portrayed as part of the fabric of the universe rather than as something characters can systematically learn or use. Magic is more of a divine or natural force rather than a system of spells or powers that can be studied or controlled. Or consider the Earthsea cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin. Magic is deeply woven into the world with wizards, spells, and a structured system of learning at the School of Roke, which makes it consistent with high magic systems. But while this magic follows some rules, primarily the use of true names to control things, its full scope and limitations are often more soft, more mysterious. Much of it operates based on intuition, balance, and understanding of the world's natural order rather than strict mechanics. It feels vast and powerful while maintaining a sense of mysticism. But in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, magic is tightly regulated and comes with clearly defined rules and risks, such as the laws of magic enforced by the White Council. It's consistent with a low magic system. However, the rules are pretty well defined. Magic is potent, but limited, and its use is often taxing on the caster, with hard restrictions governing its scope and use. This combination is also true of the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. The Grisha powers are divided into strict categories and require rigorous training. While some powers might appear supernatural, they're treated more like a science with set rules. Magic isn't omnipresent, but highly specialized, creating a low magic, structured feel that aligns with the political and social systems of Ravka. So, where does your magic system fall on this quadrant? Is it more soft or hard, low or high? Finding the right degrees of each will help you create a magic system that enhances your story and satisfies your reader's need for both awe and clarity. Whether you're building a world where magic is well known and everywhere, or one where it's a rare and mysterious force, understanding the type of magic system you're working with is key to crafting a strong story in which each element plays a cohesive part in the whole. Once you have this high-level framework, then you need to map out the specifics to make sure your magic system keeps readers invested. The best way to craft your strong, epic magic system is what I'm talking about in this video on your screen right now.